At Julian Phillips 2100 asks, hello, I imagine you have been a performing strongman for a number of years. Do you occasionally test your 1 rep max in the squat or deadlift or bench or any main barbell movement? If so, have you noticed that any of these lifts have gone up in ways that surprised you? Thank you. We're going to go over that in this video, and thank you for asking that. So, to answer your question, I imagine I've been performing strongly for a number of years. Yeah, it's actually been, this is the year 2024, and I started in 2012. So technically 12 years, or as I like to say, a decade of destruction and going strong. So to answer your question, do you occasionally test your 1 rep max in the squat or deadlift or bench or any main barbell movement? Much of my training is centered around these movements. I do train bench. I also train military press. I train squat. I train deadlift. I train chin-ups. What else? What else am I? And I do a number of other weightlifting movements as well as kettlebell movements and clubs. Now, I don't normally test them out. I may test them early in the program, but even when I do test a 1 rep max, I generally err on the side of too little as opposed to too much. One of the things that I learned from a strength coach named Paul McElroy, who is a brilliant mind when it comes to this stuff, is that an improvement in any rep range is going to lead to an improvement in every rep range to some extent. Now, if you look at the 1 rep, or if you look at rep max calculations or anything like that, I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but instead what I'll use is an app. Now I'm loading this up to just, let's say, let's use one of Dan John's standards in the bench press, right? Which is body weight times 15. As in, like, you're able to do 15 reps with your body weight on the bar, right? Now, the last time I weighed myself is I was 163 pounds, but let's just round up to 165, and I'm going to put that in for instead of 15. Now, if you look at that, that represents, or that would lead to an approximate bench press that is 248 pounds. Now, it could be 248 pounds. It might be higher. It might be a little bit lower. These things aren't the most accurate, but for our intents and purposes, it is good enough. Because if I'm able to do 16 reps of that, that now becomes 253 pounds. 7 reps, it'll go a little bit higher, etc., etc. Now, if I can do that for, let's just say if I can do that for 15 reps, let's say the next session I did 170 for 10. Now that's down to 227 pounds, right? That would be within my capabilities in order to expand my capabilities. Now let's say I'm able to do that for 15. Now that's 255 pounds. So it's easier to progress a weight that is submaximal than to try to put on your max weight and try to bang your head against the wall trying to push it farther and farther with the mindset. Yeah, the mindset is very important when it comes to performing on stage and being able to push through that discomfort. But I'm more about building the engine up safely so that when it's time to actually go on stage, the strength has already been accumulated. Then it's a matter of applying the strength that I've built up. And with the method that I'm talking about, it basically gets ego completely out of the picture. All that matters is quite simply progressing the number. Numbers are easier to progress, or easier to manipulate with the various training variables of like load, volume, and density. And I do believe in sticking to the basics. Now, have they gone up in ways that have surprised me? Not really. Everything that I do is planned out. it is planned and it is progressed appropriately. And even if something just doesn't quite feel right, or if I'm getting sick of an exercise, instead of trying to one rep max my way out of it, I might take a proposed max from whatever the numbers are, even if it's not a true max, which very rarely, and then I just switch the progression, because I know as long as those bottom numbers are going up, then the top numbers are also going up as well. So I hope that answers your question. If anybody else has any questions for me, drop it in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you with your very own custom video answering your question. And although this question was answered by @Jalisa00, when they had responded to it, he goes through the answer on the hybrid resistance channel interview. Essentially, training at a lower one rep max consistently increases a theoretical CR, doesn't have to test it. Yes, and @Jalisa, I thank you for also answering that. But I wanted to give @Julian Phillips 2100 his very own custom video, as well as for anybody else that also happens to have that same question. And also, I also wanted to kind of point at the hybrid resistance channel interview. I invite everybody else to check out that channel. Check out the interview that I did. I know he was surprised at how candid I was in the interview, but in actuality, I don't really have anything to hide. But anyways, I hope that answers your question. If anybody else has any questions for me, drop it in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you with your very own custom video. But if you like this video, let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to see more of this sort of thing, or you want to see the chronicles of my various shows across the country, subscribe to the channel. If you think anybody should see this, please share it with them. This YouTube thing isn't rocket science. And if you want to support the channel, do all the things that I just mentioned, or you could pick up a copy of my book, available on Amazon. Link is in the description below. And you can also pick up some coffee from Good For You Coffee Club. It's free of preservatives and stuff like that. And if you do that, use the promo code MyPower10 to save 10% off of that order, as well as any other orders you use it for. But please stay tuned for the next time. And then in the meantime, please stay happy, healthy, and strong. Eric Moss, over and out.